long before steel ships plowed across oceans and aircraft sliced through the sky. There was an age remembered only in fragments of legend and age, when humankind lived in partnership with the winds themselves. Historians call it the era of the Windsmiths, but in the surviving tales, it is simply referred to as the time of listening. The Windsmiths were not a kingdom, nor a single people. They were a scattered fellowship of artisans, navigators, and scholars who shared a rare talent: the ability to hear the wind's intention. To them, every gust had meaning, every breeze a message. And the great swirling storms that terrified ordinary folk were, to the Windsmiths, like ancient libraries waiting to be read. Origins of the craft. No written record survives of how the first Windsmiths discovered their gift. One popular account tells of a child born during the Great Dissonant Tempest, a storm said to have roared for 7 days with a voice that shook mountains. According to legend, the infant cried in harmony with the wind outside, and the storm quieted around the house as if listening. That child, the story claims, became the first listener. Whether this is true or not, what is known is that the art of windsmithing arose near the twin coasts of Arelon and Meres, two regions separated by a treacherous strait. Fishermen and early sailors had long remarked that the winds around the strait behaved strangely, changing direction unpredictably, carrying echoes from distant lands, and swirling with eerie luminescent mist on certain nights. It was in these borderlands that the windsmith tradition took shape. Tools of the windsmiths. Despite their mystical reputation, windsmiths relied more on craftsmanship than sorcery. Their primary tools were wind harps, long, curved instruments strung with threads woven from the silk of cloud spiders, and now extinct species that lived only on distant mountaintops. These harps were not played with fingers. They sang only when wind passed through them. A skilled windsmith could interpret the vibrations of the harp like reading words on a page. A sharp, staccato tremor might reveal approaching danger. A soft, wavering tone could warn of a shift in weather miles away. Equally important were the sky journals, waterproof books filled with dense notation, sketches of cloud forms, and elaborate diagrams of wind currents. Many journals included maps of the upper paths, invisible routes traced by powerful high-altitude winds that allowed Windships, lightweight vessels made of resin wood and cloud spider silk, to travel impossible distances. The Golden Century, the era's peak, known as the Golden Century of the Windsmiths, spanned roughly 110 years. During this time, Windships connected distant cultures in ways that seemed miraculous. Goods, stories, medicines, and philosophies flowed across the world like never before. It is said that a windship could leave the port of Arelon at dawn and arrive at the distant Isles of Vesh before nightfall, a journey that, for ordinary sailors, required weeks of navigating dangerous seas. This era was not only about trade, it was also about learning. Windsmith academies sprang up along coastlines and mountaintops. Students learned to forecast seasonal storms with astonishing precision. Others experimented with capturing storm energy, storing lightning in quartz batteries to power lamps and early machinery. Many modern historians believe that several technological leaps attributed to later civilizations were first achieved by the Windsmiths, whose achievements were simply lost to time. Rivalry and the shattering of the Wind Council. As the Windsmiths grew influential, tensions rose. Controlling the winds, or even understanding them, was power. Port cities competed for windsmiths the way later nations would compete for scientists. Academies began to drift apart, each guarding its secrets. This division culminated in the shattering of the Wind Council, a dramatic rupture between the eastern and western branches of the craft. The dispute centered on a controversial discipline known as storm binding, the practice of altering a storm's path rather than merely predicting it. Western windsmiths argued it was blasphemy, an arrogant attempt to manipulate forces beyond human right. Eastern windsmiths claimed it was necessary to protect growing coastal cities from catastrophic damage. The debate ended violently when a demonstration by a young stormbinder went horribly wrong. Attempting to divert a storm away from Meres harbor, they instead fragmented the cyclone into smaller vortices that struck multiple towns simultaneously. Hundreds were killed, and the council dissolved amid accusations, fear, and grief. The long dissolution. After the council's fall, Windsmith academies fractured further. Some disbanded outright. Others became secretive societies, wary of public distrust. The great windships ceased long-range travel, most grounded permanently. A generation later, the world entered the Iron Era. Nations began forging new technology: steam engines, ironclad ships, mechanized tools that did not rely on the subtleties of windcraft. As iron replaced silk and gears replaced harps, Windsmithing slowly faded into obscurity. Their journals were abandoned or lost. Their harps decomposed. Their windships rotted in forgotten hangars, overtaken by vines and dust. By the time modern historians rediscovered fragments of their knowledge, the last living windsmith had already died. Legacy and rediscovery. Today, only a few scattered artifacts remain. A weathered wind harp displayed in the Miri's Maritime Museum. A single sky journal in the Erelon Royal Archive, its diagrams still incompletely understood. A section of resinwood hull excavated from a cliffside collapse. Proof that windships were real and not mere fable. And yet, their influence endures. Modern meteorology owes subtle debts to Windsmiths' notation. Several coastal festivals still celebrate Listening Night, a tradition whose origin few remember. And in remote villages near the Old Strait, elders sometimes claim that on certain evenings, when the mist glows faintly and the sea is unnaturally calm, one can hear the faint resonance of a harp in the wind. Some say it is only imagination, others say it is memory. But a few insist it is an invitation to listen again.